going outside, we take the air we breathe for granted, and it's really interesting digging deeper into the idea of like what is our air quality like and like what it looks like every day. But it really changes just in general the way I look at life.
Living in one of America's most polluted cities, today the class is learning about air quality.
We use a model of education that's called Expeditionary Learning. Students are connecting what they're learning in each of their classes and going out to do fieldwork in the city to learn from their environment. Students designed their own questions after learning about issues related to air quality.
Yeah, let's try to retake the photos maybe and see what happens.
Go ahead and tell us what colors are those circles that you're seeing?
I'm seeing green.
You are seeing green? Mm-hmm. Do you see what numbers are you getting?
Yeah, it's 0, and that kind of means that like the air quality is satisfactory.
Wow.
Air pollution poses little to no risk with 24 hours of exposure.
Something that surprised me about the project was like the big difference between the Manhattan borough and the Bronx borough. Because I go to school here in the Manhattan for the first time, but I don't live here, I live in the Bronx. And something that I noticed was that like because of like the smoking rates, like where I live, you can see cigarettes on the floor like everywhere. It's not unusual. And there's like buildings that are really close together, and there's factories near my house. So that can cause like pollution from like the smoke coming out of the chimneys. Now, ever since I've like been going to this school and like just familiarizing myself with the environment, I'm always like in my head comparing like the Bronx and Manhattan.
You can see kind of really shocking things in the data, including when New York City shut down at the height of the pandemic and the air got really clean, and that surprises students and piques their curiosity, and also learning about how New York City was intentionally designed so that highways ran through Black and brown neighborhoods. That piques their interest and causes them to be interested in this topic.
I think students get excited about this kind of work because it's getting them out of the textbook and connects all the disciplines in a holistic way that is based in their place, based in their community, based on what they see around them and what they think is important. And they feel like they have a voice in their learning process.
Another community is coming together around sustainability, this one in Washington, D.C. Lederer Gardens is a community garden where residents learn to grow food in a sustainable way.
We are in the middle of the city, and most days we are shouting at each other over sirens. It happens all day long. There's, music blaring from the cars. There's a firehouse there. And so in the midst of all of this, we have this haven where sometimes the noise stops just for a few minutes, and you can hear the wind rustling through the leaves. You can hear the mockingbirds singing. And this just becomes a little piece of heaven.
My name is Watani Hatcher. I am the Parks and Environmental Division Manager for the Department of Parks and Recreation in Washington, D.C. We are in a community that does not have the resources. Within this area, we do not have a grocery store. So a lot of the individuals don't have an opportunity to get the fresh food, the fresh fruits, that you would usually get at a grocery store. So this space is just very important.
This community garden is in the middle of what's considered a food desert. That's described as a low-income neighborhood with little access to fresh groceries.
Food deserts, it's a painful thing to see. I know that sites like this not only are meeting a need in a food desert, meaning that people don't have access to fresh, quality produce. Being in a food desert has been challenging for us because at lunchtime, if there's nothing growing here, all we have is 7-Eleven and Subway. There's a liquor store there. That's it.
The district is split up into 8 wards. Unfortunately, Ward 7 and Ward 8 have never been part of a development or an improvement plan within the city. So Ward 7 is probably our second most impoverished community. We're both in a food desert. We also have the lowest income levels.
Wards 7 and 8 are in Washington, D.C.'s poorest neighborhoods. It's also just a 15-minute drive from the White House. There are just 3 supermarkets to cater to the 160,000 people who live here.
In a food desert, the young people don't have anything to eat. The children don't know where their food comes from. So they go over to 7-Eleven. Now, the teenagers walk through and say, what do you have that I can eat? So now they're picking things out of the garden and they're munching on those things on their way home from school. Makes a huge difference. So when people come and they get this produce, they are as grateful to this program as you can imagine.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates 53 million Americans live in food deserts.
It's very shocking that the nation's capital is unable to put the proper funds into an area that needs the funds the most. So a lot of times we have people who want to come here and develop, but no one wants to develop a grocery store.
50 people have already signed up. They signed up. So we give 50 per month.
So we actually just started a program this year where we are doing seed subscription boxes. In these boxes, we provide an information sheet that talks a little bit about what we're giving them. We also choose seeds that we allow community members to grow within their home. We provide the soil, we provide the container to grow the plant with the hopes that they're successful with producing their own food on their table.
So let's see, in this box, I would love if you can find most, if not all of the watermelon seeds in this in this box,
okay.
and then we'll put 1 watermelon seed in each. Yep. And we'll also add a salad mix into each box as well. Hopefully that will.
So are they getting the whole pack or the seeds?
Yeah, they're going to get the whole pack of seeds.
Okay.
Yeah.
First I thought you were like 1 seed.
Oh no! That would have been so petty.
When people come to the veggie giveaway, a lot of times they see food, vegetables that they have never seen before. They've never heard of it. And so we have the opportunity to tell them what it is, how they can prepare it. It is wonderful to see them discovering ways to prepare different foods and then to experience them as well.
The lessons in gardening, nutrition, and sustainability taught by the gardens have been well received by the local community. People here are embracing this message.
Everybody was very welcoming, very inviting. I didn't expect there to be so many varieties of vegetables to choose from, but they welcomed me and offered me to, take and select whatever I wanted. So it's amazing. Like, I can't wait to come back. A lot of people can relate to when you're hungry, you're hungry. So you eat what is most available, and that may not necessarily be the most ideal or the most healthy. So that's why programs like this, are crucial. They're so necessary.
Now we have people walking by and they go, hey, what are you guys doing? And we get to have conversations with them. The children come up to the fence and I march along the fence with them. I show them the strawberry patch that we planted for them last year, let them know that this is their garden. The point is to give everyone some ownership, that this becomes a hub for them.
I think this might only be showing
58.
Back in New York, students bring back their data from the field to analyze.
That's where, I guess, the most pollution is coming from. And then there's nothing that's less exposed than average. It's really interesting to kind of look outside and to actually analyze that data as what we're breathing, what's going inside our bodies, and how that's going to affect us in the long run, how that's going to affect our kids, things like that. So I was really excited about it. I know a lot of people were.
Oh, I do. I mean, we looked at the data, almost 7 million people die each year because of poor air quality, so it's you don't want 7 million people dying each year. That shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, every time we met.
There's so much data to work with, and being able to condense that and really identify what's most important are super important skills for our students to have in the future.
Instead of rain, it's forming around an aerosol particle while droplets clumping together until you can make a drop, but then it gets too heavy.
This form of education helps the students feel directly involved with their learning, in the hopes they can carry these lessons with them later in life.
It's doing more research on the difference between snow and rain.
Our themes here across our school are very much tied to sustainability, but also not because it's just a value of our teachers, but these are topics in society that we're talking about on a larger scale, and this is a generation of kids that we need to be doing the work more than ever. Our hope is that they're leaving here with the skill set to be the change agents our society needs.
At the end of an expedition, students present their learning to an authentic, real audience in what we call a presentation of learning.
Hi, I'm Daisy. I'm Natalia. I'm Nita. And we're 9th graders here at West End Secondary. We're currently working on an air pollution research project, and we were curious about how air quality today relates to clouds in the sky. We learned about particles called aerosols, cloud cover, water vapor, and condensation, and pollutants in our atmosphere. But what exactly are these things, and how do they play an effect on our clouds?
Students actually experience the process that scientists have to go through in communicating data that could be potentially dry and uninteresting in one perspective, but they can turn it into a narrative that engages a public audience.
Showing examples of transparent.
So it makes students feel powerful in that they can use their data to make meaningful change.
We have 12 middle school students, 6th and 7th graders.
And the importance of these lessons on sustainability isn't lost on this class.
Climate change is a huge thing with everything going on in today's world. I feel so impacted by something like this just because we have to think about this is our future. I'm worried about what's going to happen. One person isn't going to change anything. We need a community to come together. If enough people do it, it will be able to make a change.